promised, joined by Buckeye great Bobby Carpenter. You hear him every day on 97.1 The Fan. And Bob, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. It's weird. Opening with a Big Ten team on a Thursday night, under the lights, on the road. Do you like this opener?
I do. I'm not necessarily a big fan of the Thursday night games, but if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. Go Thursday night on the road, Big Ten opener, and with Kevin Wilson facing his former team, the new offensive coordinator for Ohio State. You have to love that, Dom. Should be a ton of points scored. I know everybody's chomping at the bit to take a look at this Buckeye offense.
How weird is this, though, for Kevin Wilson? I mean, you said it. The guy was the head coach over there. Did not leave under, a good situation, I guess. He's now the offensive coordinator here. I mean, that's got to be in the back of his mind, huh?
He's not going to talk about it, but I know Kevin Wilson is probably thinking about it. And my question is, how many points is he going to be able to score in the first half? I think Urban will probably call the dogs off. But with this offense, you saw what he was able to do at Indiana. You saw him at Northwestern as a coordinator. You saw him at Oklahoma as a coordinator. Now you give him this type of talent, a fifth-year starting quarterback, and a very good defense behind him. There is a good chance I think they might be able to score close to 50 points in the first half.
I like Kevin Wilson. I'll tell you what, I got to know him a little bit at our wall-to-wall cup. Class act. I like the guy, and competitor. That's the one thing you can say about the guy. How big of a impact is it, though? This guy knows all the personnel at Indiana, and you know the way Urban Meyer is. I mean, they're going to know what everybody's tendencies are.
Absolutely. I guarantee Urban's been picking Kevin Wilson's brain. He recruited most of the defensive players. He's going to know their strengths. He's going to know their weaknesses. He's going to know a lot of guys on that staff. He'll have a firm idea of what Indiana's trying to do. The problem is he was the guy that made that choir sing. He was the maestro with that offense. You take him out of the mix, put him on Ohio State now with this type of talent. Dom, think of the games you've watched Indiana come in here or play Ohio State tough over the last 3 or 4 seasons with what you would call inferior players. You give him these Buckeye offensive weapons, and I can't even imagine what he's going to be able to do.
I mean, it's going to be fast, fast, fast. What are your expectations for the guy that's going to run the offense, J.T. Barrett? He burst onto the scene as a youngster, and the last 2 seasons, maybe not what fans had expected. Certainly, Urban wanted to see an improvement with the passing game. What are your expectations for J.T. with not only Kevin Wilson, but Ryan Day?
You hit it right there on the head. Ryan Day, Kevin Wilson, both of those guys coming in. J.T. had a big freshman year. And then you remember the 2015 season. He's battling. They're going back and forth with Cardale. Last year, 2016, a good campaign by most people's standards. JT, could have very easily won the silver football.
Sure.
As player of the year in the Big Ten. Fell a little short of that. The offense got stagnant. But you bring in Kevin Wilson, who's an unbelievable offensive mind. Ryan Day, who has NFL experience to develop that intermediate passing game. They even added Brian Hartline as an intern there to help with some of the wide receiver combinations. I think this young offensive line is really rounding into form with another year of experience. And there's a guy named J.K. Dobbins who's going to be at running back with Mike Weber. Those guys are going to be able to do a lot of great things, and I'm very excited to see the poise that JT will have now with all of this surrounding cast to help him.
You brought it up, the offensive line. He's only as good, JT is, as the guys blocking for him. And it was kind of exposed a little bit, I think, in that Clemson game. You've been over there. What are you seeing out of the O-line? And Urban says much improved. Well,
they're much improved. They have very talented players. But if you look at a guy like Isaiah Prince, he played really well in probably 9 games last year. A couple games played average, and then everybody looks at Penn State, didn't play very well. Clemson didn't play very well. A lot of Clemson's defensive players, they're playing in the NFL.
Right.
They're high-level draft picks. Isaiah Prince is coming back under another year. You started a true freshman in Michael Jordan. He's going to be back. He's going to be better. Jamarco Jones is back. He's better. They slide Billy Price to center. They're putting Brandon Bowen in at guard. If you look at this offensive line, they look like an NFL offensive line. They're starting to move like that. Now can they just work in concert together to be able to get it done? I think with the added experience, it's going to make a big difference.
Billy Price, here's a guy that is making the switch from guard to center, preseason All-American, and never played the position with the AP. That's respect.
Well, if you ever shook in one of Billy Price's hands,
yeah,
they're thick,
paws.
They're strong. He's got a lot of power there. And being the veteran guy playing guard, he's going to be the one you're going to ask to orchestrate all this offense, learn from Pat Elflein doing it the year before. I'm really excited to see what Billy Price can do.
All right, the year that the Magic run, Yeah, you had obviously you started with Braxton, who got hurt, then JT, and then 12 gauge came in. They won a national title. People said, "What was the difference?" Well, you had Devin Smith. You had
Michael Thomas, Evan Spencer.
Yes. Do they have the horses now?
I think they had the horses last year, but it's developing those guys. They were young, and everybody wants to look at guys. And when they leave Ohio State, you remember their best year. No one remembers the maturation process going through this. A guy like Austin Mack, who didn't really play a lot last year. Benjamin Victor, who you saw at the end of the season, has a body type like A.J. Green, can really get up and run. K.J. Hill, a guy that has had huge expectations, highly recruited. Let's throw him in there now. Paris Campbell, veteran guy. These guys have all worked very hard this offseason with JT. They've got a new offense to kind of clarify the roles, and I'm very excited to watch them make some big-time plays.
All right, Bob, defense at your heart. Is the defense the strength of this team?
I would have to say initially, because I believe that football teams are built from the inside out and from the front to the back. And if you look at the defensive line of this Ohio State football team.
Is this the best defensive line in the country?
For my money, it might be one of the best defensive lines I've ever seen. You look at maybe some of those Miami Hurricane teams from the mid-'90s where they were rolling out guys who were being drafted first, second, third round. I look at a lot of these defensive linemen. You have a guy like Sam Hubbard, super versatile, can do a ton of things, played safety in high school. Nick Bosa.
They're going to rotate.
They're going to rotate because they have to. They have to. It's unbelievable how good they are. There's a kid that came in, Chase Young, who I was talking to a scout over there, who was NFL scout looking at him and put a draftable grade down for this kid before he even looked down and realized that he was a true freshman. It's the development of these guys with Mickey Marotti, the body types they have. Draymond Jones has done a great job to eat up stuff inside. They're going to have a rushing package that's going to be second to none, and I don't even think they're going to really have to blitz a lot, which will be devastating for opposing quarterbacks if they can get pressure with front four.
You were an outstanding linebacker at Ohio State. Look at the linebackers they have. Chris Worley in the middle. Do you like what you're seeing?
I like Chris Worley a lot. He's a guy who's a veteran player, came in here as a safety, Cleveland Glenville product, played some Sam linebacker, and then with the departure of Raekwon McMillan, he's the most experienced guy. He's the most vocal. He's a natural leader in there. They put him in at Mike linebacker. You're worried that he may be a little bit small, but he's bulked up. And I love what Worley's done. He's going to be the guy that's going to orchestrate that defense, get everybody on the same page, make all the calls that you want. And I think he'll end up being maybe one of the most undervalued pieces. He may not make all the plays, but that defense will be good because of what he'll bring to the table.
Real quick, they're number 2 in the country. Everyone's saying it's going to be Alabama, Ohio State. Vegas has them picked. You're the head coach. What do you say to your guys? Woody said, don't listen to the compliments.
What do you say to them? All you have to do, if you're Urban Meyer, is throw up the film of the 31-0 loss against Clemson last year. That's all you have to do. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Those guys remember how it felt. They'll be the primary ones playing on the field because everyone is itching to get that taste out of their mouth. That's another reason to feel unfortunate for the Hoosiers.
Bob Carpenter, thank you very much for coming down. Class act. Listen to him on 97.1 The Fan.